Video. Yes, I gotta take one Facebook. Good morning and welcome to Finding Joy in the Dirt conversation. You know, it's a candid conversation with Phoebe. Of course, we're here again talking about my book, Finding Joy in the Dirt. This is the third, it is the third, part three of the book, Finding Joy in the Dirt, Dirt Personified. And I want you to grab your tea and sip with me. Those who know me know that I love Milo. I love my Milo. And so, it's it's a fact that I'm gonna grab a cup of Milo tea at any given time. You sit with me, you grab your tea, and let's talk about it. So, how I find my joy, how I find my joy, and you know how I find my joy. My joy lives within me. My joy comes out, uh, or it's supposed to come out when somebody sees me. A lot of people say sometimes it's hard for you to walk around with a joyful face. It's hard for people to figure you out when they see you. But the joy that lives within you, the moment they start speaking to you, that joy is supposed to just permeate you. That joy is supposed to be permeate them, and they should not be should not be fueled with a negative energy. The Bible tells us about the angry and sin not, and sometimes we do get angry in our spirit. We do get downtrodden. We do get this become in despair. We do feel a little off sometimes, but the joy that lives within you, the joy of Jesus, it's not supposed to go anywhere. It's supposed to turn you around. It's supposed to spin you around. And so anyone who is with you will be able to recognize that everything is all right. Charmaine, are you seeing me? Yeah. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about finding joy in the difficult times. And I am on page 2. And like I said, sometimes I'm not going to be talking about the book directly. I'm going to talk about how you are finding your joy. And like we talked about last week, I'm going to go to, if you have the book, then you definitely know where I am. I'm on page 14. And I talked about the influence of racial struggles and societal expectations. And I said, growing up, I was taught to be strong, not just strong in a physical sense, but strong in the spirit. There you go. There you go. And I just want to strong in silence, strong in the face of adversity. And I want to stop right there. So I saw my mother, after my father passed away in 1984, my mother, she took on everything. She walked how much miles to go to a church because she had closed down the church at the house, and she walked us so many miles away just to be in the house of the Lord, because she knew that she could not do it by herself. Rest in peace, Evelyn Tomlinson, the 28th of this month. That's next week. I think it's next week Tuesday. Yeah, next week Tuesday. We'll be celebrating 4 years. 4 years since my mother passed. What? Are you not serious? 4 years already? And I saw her demonstrated rather this fierceness, this the strength to survive, the strength to shut down the critics. I saw her just walk forward and said, it doesn't matter what comes, what may, I'm going to grow these children up in the admonition of Christ. I'm going to make sure that they get what they want. I'm going to make sure that they're taken care of no matter what. I saw my mother did that. I saw my mother also shut down her critics. She shut her critics down because they thought that she could not have done it. And then after my father passed, she just stepped in the role and took up all of that responsibility and cared for us. I'm saying that because society will make you think that you're a nobody. People will make you think that because you're not privileged like them, or because you weren't born with a gold spoon in your mouth, you cannot achieve nothing. You cannot come out from a poor family where you saw you had nothing to eat, you walked barefooted to school, you walked this long journey to school, you struggled. They think that you cannot be have nothing. And when I say have nothing, I mean the richness of Christ, the richness to tell others about Christ. And that's what I'm talking about. And of course, he tells us to replenish the earth. So if there's something here that we are supposed to be rich in from him, we open up our arms and we take that as well. So as the passage talked about growing up, I was taught to be strong. Yeah, our mother taught us to hold the fort. Our mothers taught us to be resilient, to persevere. She didn't taught us how. What happened is my mother didn't really give us the basic skills. I'm serious. Never gave us like the basic skills to say this is how you do it. Like she didn't gave us like a list to say, okay, when you fall into when you start a relationship in life, this is what you're gonna do. You know, those older people, they're not explaining that to you, and that caused a lot of us to have break marriages. We have break relationship. But that wasn't the reason why I had a difficult marriage and a difficult divorce. That was definitely not, because knowing me, I read a lot, and I had older sisters, I had older brothers, and I have mentors who would have walked me through certain things that they have been through and say, here are some skill sets where you need to have to do this, or some things. But definitely she taught us to be quiet, like not to speak up, like not to have a voice to speak up. And I'm speaking to this quietness. I know sometimes the scripture says, be still and know that I am God. Sometimes God has you into this stillness. He wants you to be quiet because it's not the right time to talk. But when it's the time to talk, I feel like God shows you that. He lets you know that there's a time for you to talk. But if you do not know Christ, if you do not have him for yourself, if you do not know him for yourself, then you're not gonna know when to speak up, when to speak out. And I said, my mother taught us to be like basically quiet. She taught us like, oh,